love to be here, but unfortunately all of them are outside of the country and I have to share this joy all alone. But I'm sure they'll be watching this program as Sister Alpana was kind enough to send me the link which I have shared with them. This is indeed a very prestigious school and I'm sure all of you are blessed to be studying here. I must thank all the Catholic institutions for coming up with these wonderful, wonderful education institutions many, many years ago, and also many healthcare institutions when there were none or very few in the country. I'm particularly fortunate that I am a product of one of the Catholic schools. I studied in a convent called St. Cecily's Convent, which was adjacent to my house in Udupi. After the 5th standard, they kicked me out of the school because I was a boy. I believe now it's a co-ed school where I would have continued, but at that point it was a girls-only school. So I was kicked to a good place called St. Aloysius School for my middle and high school in Bangalore, and subsequently I went on to do my medicine. But my foundation really started with one of the prestigious Catholic institutions in South Canada. You should really be considering yourself lucky to be studying this much sought after prestigious school, which has produced many eminent citizens of the country. You may or may not be aware, Justice Nagaratna of the Supreme Court, Dr. Pratima Murthy, the director of NIMHANS, our ace swimmer Nisha Millet, and of course our own famous cine star Deepika Padukone. So they've all come from your school and I'm sure one of you will be in this list in the future. Believe it or not, being a doctor, one would expect that the maximum phone calls I get is from patients. But during the admission season, the maximum calls I get is to talk to the principal for a seat in this prestigious school. But Sister Alpana is very strict, so I have to make some polite excuses, saying that I will talk to her, but we do not know whether she'll give the seat. It's indeed a great pleasure for me to be amongst young minds, and never in my dreams I thought after the devastating pandemic COVID that I would be standing in front of you, nor would you be standing next to each other without your masks. So that's been probably the greatest joy of my life, coming out of COVID. And for us doctors and for all of you, it was a horrid times. Never in my 50 years of clinical medicine have I seen anything like this, and I hope we don't see it again. So it's a great pleasure for me to be among young minds, because in my profession, we see a lot of sickness and sadness all the time, and certainly is a great, great change to be with enthusiastic, bubbly young minds like all of you. So during the COVID times, the maximum complaints I used to receive was from the parents, because they had to have these virtual classes, online classes, which means the parents were responsible for their children at home. It was then that I realized how much respect we should have for our teachers who are taking care of not one or two kids at home, but hundreds of you in schools. So my respect for the teachers has gone up many-fold after I saw what happened to the parents at home with COVID. I was addressing a large gathering of school principals the other day, organized by the Times. And what they tell me, I mean, don't take it personally, is that many kids have become indisciplined after the virtual classes or online classes. And to some extent, they've also become antisocial, but I told them, Sapphire's girls are not like that. They've always been social and disciplined, and I see that in the way you talk to your lives today. So I get invited to many school and college functions, especially I used to be invited quite a bit for schools when my children were studying in schools, and maybe now I'll get the invitations again once my grandchildren start getting into schools. And I used to ask my children once we come back from these functions, and What is it that they admire most about the chief guest? The looks, the personality, the command over the language, oratory skills, the humor, so on and so forth. And the answer, unfortunately, has been consistently none of these, but the popularity of the speaker is inversely proportional to the time you are on the podium with the mic. In fact, whenever I give lectures, I quote an interesting study called NOEL, N-O-E-L. Do you know what that stands for? Many of you may. It's nodding off episodes per lecture. And the most important contribution to this nodding off episode during a lecture is the duration of the speech, and usually after 15 to 20 minutes, most of you would doze off. I think the sisters are here, so you won't doze off. I have taken this advice very seriously, and will only take a few minutes of your time before we go on to the much awaited prize distribution. You all had a wonderful time at school, I suppose. After school, you'll be busy with undergraduate, postgraduate courses, and then get on to a successful career within our country or outside of the country. I'm sure many of you will contribute hugely to the future of India. Hence, there are a few important issues that I would like to discuss with you while you're still young. Issues that our society needs to address for the future of the country. And you, as the future of the country, need to know this and work on correcting it. First and foremost is the contradictions in our society. As proud as we are of the development of our country, including in the field of education, we should be really concerned that it is only happening in islands of isolation where there is silos of excellence, but the vast majority of our population either does not have access to schools or the schools they attend are substandard ones. We are a land of contradictions and are like the champagne glass. I'm sure all of you have seen the champagne glass. I mean, have you seen the glass, if not used it? Where the top 10% has everything and the bottom 90% very little, the way the glass is shaped. We have the most expensive mansion in the world next to the largest slum in the world. We have the best 7-star hospitals, and 100 kilometers away there are dilapidated primary health centers with children even today dying of diarrhea, malnutrition. We have the best schools and colleges like Sapphires in the cities and dilapidated educational institutions in the villages just an hour away with no teachers, no books, no furniture, and sometimes not even a roof over their heads. We are fortunate in the state of Karnataka that we have a much better education system than some of the other underdeveloped states where this is very, very obvious. We are the land of Mahatma Gandhi, but we indulge in the most abhorrent crime and cruelty on women. In any country, I believe, development should be measured based on the living standards of the poorest section of the society and not the most affluent. And by those standards, unfortunately, we have failed, and it is for you as youngsters in the future to rectify this. If we do not change this, the disparity between the haves and have-nots is a sure recipe for disaster and revolution. Next, I want to talk to you about the rat race we are in. We are constantly in a rat race, and this race starts even before the child is thought of, let alone being born. And in many cities, parents start looking for a school before the child is born, and the school starts at the tender age of 2 or 3. And believe me, I believe they have interviews for these toddlers. I'm not sure what aspect of the toddler they look at other than their cuteness. Once they get into the school, it's only studies, studies, and studies alone, and then tuitions after the studies in school. Most schools do not use their playground except for assemblies, and in some schools I see the vast playgrounds shrinking each day. You are fortunate at Sapphires that your school is an exception and you still have a large open space and a playground and a sports complex. For any entrance to the professional college, even a 99% score is not good enough. I scored 86% in what used to be PUC those days and was in the top 10 of the state. Now I probably would be in the bottom 10. So I really feel sorry for you guys. I mean, 99% is not enough to get an entrance into schools. Where do you go from there? Does it mean that education today is just a number and your future depends on MCQs? I'm sure if Michelangelo, M.F. Hussain and Steve Jobs had to take MCQs to be judged for their proficiency, we probably would not have had the Sistine Chapel, Apple phones, all of which you are addicted to, computers and other masterpieces available for the world to enjoy. In my opinion, we probably need to relook at entrance tests as best being an eligibility criteria, and selection should be based on non-biased interview for aptitude, attitude and skills. I interview a large number of doctors who have scored very well in their entrance and exit exams, but many of them unfortunately have zero aptitude or a terrible attitude and very little empathy. Tell me honestly, which one of you would like to go and see a morose, arrogant, dull doctor, however skilled they are? Would you? No. I do believe all of us and the educationists that are here in the first row, including the distinguished educationists here, need to address these serious issues and bring in the changes. There are many other societal issues that I want to address to you as the future of our society. I'm truly appalled at the behavior of some sections of our society, like intolerance to religion, caste, gender insensitivity, utter disregard for the rights of others, lack of values and lack of civic sense. It is very important that these topics should be part of the curriculum in our school and not just maths, physics, chemistry and biology. I am glad that the regulatory bodies are now looking at attitude, aptitude and communicable skills in the core curriculum of many courses. We in the medical profession have conquered many a cancer successfully, but the society has failed miserably in spreading the cancer of corruption. Ladies, in my opinion, this is the root cause of most evils in the country, and we need to fight this scourge and get rid of this cancer before it devours the country and the society. It's payback time as I see it. Many of you graduating today will be leaders of tomorrow, maybe even Narayan Murthy, Kiran Mazumdar, Indra Nui, Nadella, Pichai, or Bill Gates of the world. At that time, please remember the humble souls who have silently helped you in the journey of reaching there and be the leaders of the world. It may be your maid, it may be the chaiwala, it may be the security person, it may be the driver and other countless people who have helped you to be what you are. They and their families also deserve a bright future. My dear girls, it's payback time. Please give back to the society something in return to what the society has given to you. One great idea is to give quality education to the youngsters who will be our future. I encourage large institutions to set up an endowment at the schools, colleges, and the universities to help the less privileged. Now it's time for congratulations. Many of you are here to graduate, to receive your prizes and graduation. Believe me, the best part of our life is the school. I've had the best time in my school. I never would have wanted to leave school, except I was forced to. And this is where you develop your character, friendships, and values. Make the best of this because this is the foundation of your future. As you face the new world ahead of you, work hard. Do you know what grows without hard work? Only weeds. Be courageous. Courage doesn't mean you don't get afraid. It means you don't let fear stop you, and be a good leader. Don't order, push or demand. Instead, guide, lead and inspire. I would like to congratulate the winners, and if you have not been a winner, do not worry. You may still have a bright future like Steve Jobs, Bill Gates and Mark Zuckerberg, who did great things after dropping out of college. Please don't take that as a suggestion. I want all of you to go through college. In conclusion, the last piece of advice from me: be what you are and not necessarily what others want you to be. Stay focused in spite of the numerous distractions you have in this world which may lead you astray. Push yourself hard each day because no one else will do it for you. Keep your eyes on the stars but feet on the ground. All the best, kids, and God bless. Jai Hind, Jai Karnataka.